it's 2025 and you're building a digital product and you're thinking about how to succeed with digital products. Well, in this video, I'll be talking about how you should build your product team. Basically, who you should hire your product team, why you should hire people on your product team, how to manage your product team effectively, and then, of course, results you should look out for, to succeed with these products. So I'll start out with what exactly is a product team. Contrary to how many other people may define it, what I believe a product team is really what other people define as separate teams. Yeah, the core product team and the engineering team. I believe the product team is actually product engineering team, and this includes the core product guys, PMs, basically product managers, product designers, UX researchers, and of course even the data analysts. Sometimes, many times actually, who are looking at data on how this product is used basically for the PMs and the core product team to make informed decisions. Yeah, and also includes people on the engineering team or the core engineering team, as usually be defined. Your developers, especially front-end developers, back-end developers, and mobile app developers. Essentially, what I believe is the product team should be comprised is basically all of these guys, essentially, because the goal of every of these guys in your team or in your organization is basically to build that infrastructure through different means, basically thinking in different ways, but essentially all of the goal comes together, unifies basically to build the necessary products. Yeah. So that's basically what I define as a product team. And if you understand that, I believe you'll be able to see products in a different way, essentially. Yeah. So now I'll be talking about who you should hire and why you should hire them. Yeah. Essentially, who you should hire are basically every other people, all of these people I have mentioned. The PMs, the product designers, the front-end developer, back-end developer, and mobile app developer, depending on what you're building, essentially. And of course, probably most, the data analyst, basically. So, what is a product manager, or who is a product manager, and why should you hire a product manager? Essentially, a product manager is the person who is responsible for the product lifecycle. Yeah, this includes from understanding what the business is looking to achieve and how to translate those business requirements or those business needs basically into what product should be built, basically what should be built and how this should be built. How it should be built, meaning what should we start with, what should we move into the market first, are we ready to move a particular feature into the market, and how does it meet what the market is looking for at this point in time. You should also hire a product designer. Basically, a product designer is that person who is responsible for showing how the product should look and how it should work, basically. And why you should hire a product designer is that essentially saves you a lot of costs. It also gives the team clarity on what they are building, yeah, because the product designer is basically going to design out all of the visuals on how the product is going to look, set out constraints for how features should be accessed, as well as basically essentially the layout of that product, of your product. Why should you hire these guys? The product designer, basically, like I mentioned, it gives your team clarity. The PA, basically every stakeholder on the product team and even outside the product team are able to clearly see what the product is going to look like, able to give input at stages that may not be super costly. Yeah, at early stages, you're able to give clear input from other stakeholders, and which will basically shape up how the product essentially is going to look like. And the product designer also designs the experience of the product. The experience is basically how your user feels, yeah, when they interact with your product. Do they feel frustrated? Are they able to achieve their goal? It's so many things, but basically, in summary, it's usually those two things, essentially, if you break it down to the basics. Yeah. And yeah, you should hire the product manager, the product designer. Now, you should hire, depending on what you're building, you need to hire either a front-end developer or a mobile app developer. Yeah. A front-end developer is essentially an a developer, yeah, who basically writes code for web. Their stack is usually things like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, um, React, TypeScript, basically front end frameworks. Yeah, and they help you build a product that is meant to be used on a domain, a website, basically. Yeah. Um, Other people you should hire, of course, if you're building a mobile-based product, you definitely need to hire a mobile app developer, mobile application developer. Their stack is usually Flutter and Dart, um, basically mobile app frameworks, and they build products that are meant to be used on a mobile application, basically. So your mobile device, your Android, iOS, basically phone mobile application that can be downloaded from your your mobile stores, App Store or Play Store. And lastly, you need to hire a backend developer, definitely. You can't even build the product without a backend developer, yeah. And what backend developers do is basically build the hidden infrastructure, which is the infrastructure which no one sees. That's no one sees on the product. Yeah, this includes how you store your data, basically your database, how you host your product and basically how you host your products on the internet, um, pretty much. And the frameworks, I can't remember the domain to be honest. So yeah, um, yeah, that's pretty much that about who you should hire and why you should hire these people on your product team. Now you've assembled your product team. You're going to be thinking, how do I manage this product team? How do I get the product team to be super effective, basically? Um, there's so many perspectives that different people could share on how you can go about this, basically. But for myself, for this video, basically, I'm going to approach this from two perspectives here. The first perspective is as a solo founder or instead of non-technical founders um, who are starting up a small product team, basically, as like the only part of the organization at that time. Just pretty much how the startup is like, begins. Yeah. And then from the perspective of a small startup that has some sort of structure and has different department, basically, within the organization. Yeah. So for a solo founder or a sort of non-technical co-founders who are basically starting from like scratch and having the first product like the first part of, um, of the business or of the organization, basically, what you want to do is you want to be super close to the product team. And by super close, I don't mean micromanaging or being in their faces. Yeah, basically what you want to do is you want to, one, have a very good relationship with the product team so that this enhances communication. Yeah, and why you want to do this is because you want this product team. It's not a product. It's not product. When I say product team, I mean core product guys, PMs, designers, and the engineers. No matter what type of engineers you're using, you have your team. Yeah. So what you want to do is you want this product team to be super clear on what you are building. Yeah, and you want the product team to be self-driving. Self-driving in the sense that they're able to come up with solutions that closely meet what the market needs. Please note I didn't say what you I thought you were going to build, basically. And why I'm saying this is because you may find that what you had thought you had to build may not necessarily work. Yeah, you may have to build a product that is slightly different. Of course, it's still be entirely different, yeah, but it may be slightly different from what you may have be thinking about basically. And this is why you actually have a product team, which is basically the job of the product team is to, help you clearly see what needs to be done. And the best way to go about it is basically to have a PM, a product manager on your team. But having a product manager on your team can be a huge make or break. Yeah. Um, but it could make you in the sense that your team has a very clear sense of direction, there's a clear sense of ownership, there's a clear, beautiful team um, bond basically. Everybody understands what needs to be done. Everyone is working efficiently basically. Um, Products is being, stuff work is being done at a speed that is very likable basically, um, which is awesome. However, it would slightly mess up everything you want to do. I'm telling you from experience. I've been on similar teams in the past where the PMs basically just chill and wait for like design team engineers to push out work, and then there is no, what I say, let me say comparison or assessment basically, if this actually aligns with requirements that are set out basically. Yeah, and if it does not align, why is it not aligning? Is it the better option? Is it due to some particular technical constraints basically, or new stuff that had come up while pushing out those releases basically? Or you find that all the PM is doing is basically Scrum. By Scrum, I mean, um, oh, what did we do today? What are we doing next? And you find that these conversations, I would say they are unproductive because you are just checking tasks off lists. You are not as you're not looking to see if this work that's being done um, is for the greater good. Basically, it's towards the goal that or towards the needs that the market requires. Basically, that these people are going to use your cost, who are going to use your product. Need basically. Um, yeah. So that's how PM can make or break you. But to be honest, I believe having a great PM can super fast track whatever you need to build and help you building like the most awesome stuff ever. Now, from the perspective of a small startup who has like other organizations, other departments, I would say it's pretty much similar, except the fact that you are most likely going to be like at C level, executive level, and there will usually more or less be a huge gap in communication because you are like there. There's so many people in between yourself and the product team, or basically how your organization is structured. Or worst case scenario is one person between you and the product team, which would either be like your CTO or basically your head of product, essentially, mostly your head of products. So what you want to do in this case is this situation, I would say, is to also have a very clear sense of direction as a business. Yeah. And then you have to share that clear sense of direction with all of your team, not just the product team, everybody, because the product team is basically going to be working on information from all of these other teams here. So for operations, product team is going to take into consideration how operation actually carries out the activities in like real life, and use that to determine how the product needs to be built. Basically, what features need to be put into the product to make the product super awesome. Basically, they're going to be working with marketing to understand what kind of people are engaging with your business. Yeah. And what groups they fall into. That gives a clear idea to the product team on what user groups they they should be considering when building features into the product, when building access points, when defining feature complexities, basically. And once you do that, you will want to have like clear metrics, basically, that are being measured. Yeah, you want to aside most people, you find that most teams just measure feature releases or release um, 500 features, which is great, to be honest, which is awesome, and it's super important because at early stages you always want to be like um, pushing out new stuff that makes sense, anyways. Fixing issues as soon as possible. So definitely, you're going to be like having so many releases, but that's like talk for another day. Um, you want to set out basically you want to set out like metrics that are super important. Yeah, you want team needs to measure um, how the product is being used if you're already in markets. Um, and if you're not in markets, you want to be measuring, um, you know, how quickly things are being pushed. Basically, how to like have that timeline so you can get into the markets quickly. Basically, so when you get into the market, you want to like have like product analytics. Yeah, always build product analytics into your products. Yeah, and you can do this using tools like Mixpanel or using Pendo. Um, Basically, this gives you like insights into how people are using your product. So what areas of the products are having you know bottlenecks. Essentially, bottlenecks are basically this like flows that how you bottleneck is basically it's like why you have a lot of people filled up here, and then when they get to that flow, it's narrows basically like because it has a lot of complexities. So you find that only fewer people can fit into or understand that flow basically. But yeah, that's like talk for later. Um, so when you have those metrics set out for like as a company, it's easier for the product team to understand how you want or how users should be using your products. Yeah, how they should create the product for users to build basically. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. I believe that would pretty much solve a lot of um, issues around managing products. And then definitely you always want to have like um, stakeholder conversations. Yeah, you want whatever changes are made on the business end, you want to make sure that when these decisions are being made, you want to have um, you want to have your product team present. Yeah, this includes engineers. Definitely, you just have like the engineering lead and like the core product lead needs to be there so that they understand the clear. They have like a clear reason why certain changes need to be made into the product or into how the product is currently being built at that point in time. Pretty much with that, I believe you're going to have success in managing your product team. Once you've decided how you want to manage your product team, whether you use tips from the perspective that I've shared, or you decide to go an entirely different route, yeah, you want to have clear results on basically to have like there will definitely be results you're looking for. Yeah, and first thing will usually be MVP release. Usually, yeah, you want to release your first um, product. Now, MVP can be defined in so many ways. Yeah, there's a lot of people that define MVPs as like just one feature, and of course, it depends on what you're actually building. So, there are people that define MVPs as like a suite of different features. But MVP is like a different talk entirely. But what you want to look for at this stage, yeah, for MVP release is you want to have um, a clear sense of when things will be pushed. Basically, when you're able to push things into the market for people to use, there are different frameworks for this to be done. Either using your waterfall framework, the agile framework, the lean framework. Um, um, these are like the three major frameworks that teams use. But for me, I always advocate for the lean, to be honest. Yeah, because it allows everybody on the team focus on a particular feature, get that done from like A to Z, tests, yeah, internal tests, have external users tests, and get a different perspective on how that feature is being used, and then you can pretty much then move into the markets. I've found over the years that this is super effective, and it makes the product team move super fast, to be honest, because you move from feature to feature. There's a clear sense of communication for every stakeholder on what is being worked on at that point in time, what is being released, and when it's being released. And to be honest, it just makes all of the gears go amazing. Yeah. But whichever framework you decide to use on your team, to be honest, it's up to you. But that's my perspective. I will definitely be sharing like more information on frameworks on product frameworks basically in some other video. And yeah, once that's done, once you have your feature in the market or like being used by people, the next thing you want to do is have a clear set of metrics, as this is what will help you realize if you are hitting the goals that you have set for your business, and if you are not, how close you are to hitting them, what needs to change, how your product needs to be modified. There's like so many set of metrics so many product metrics that can be tracked, from business outcome metrics to core product metrics to product performance metrics. All of these metrics are super important for you to track basically. Yeah, and I'd say in a note case, all of this is basically how you should build a product basically. Once you have a clear understanding of all of these things, you find that your product team or your organization, product-led organization, if you're a product-led organization, would move super amazingly. You just find that everything works perfectly, or almost perfectly. Yeah, and that's that. If you have any questions, do make sure to leave a comment in the comment section, and I'll do my best to share more information either by responding to your comments or creating a follow-up video to clarify or share any information that's needed. I hope this video was super helpful to you. Cheers, and see you in the next video.